I'm Kaitlin, and this is my heart warrior, George, but we call him Geo. He is 2.5, he'll be 3 in December, and just had heart surgery in July of this year. So it was a prenatal, we had a prenatal diagnosis. We were followed very heavily by the high-risk pregnancy clinic because of his Down syndrome, and so they caught the abnormality, and we went and saw prenatal cardiology who did the final diagnosis of his heart condition. I think we were more in shock than anything. We had a lot of diagnoses that we were kind of juggling. The heart condition was definitely the scariest one. A lot of unknown with afterbirth. And I apologize that I can't remember exactly what, but there were certain parts that once he started breathing could potentially show more of a abnormality. And so some anxiety around what afterbirth was going to show. And then just fear of the unknown when he was going to have heart surgery. Would it be when he was born, or would it be able to hold out for a few years? So initially our care plan, when he was born, his heart condition did not need her surgery right away. So they told us we could wait until he was around 4 years old to have surgery. Over the past year though, that changed. He had 2 hospital stays because he had RSV that turned into pneumonia, and because of the heart condition, he couldn't, his lungs weren't getting enough blood flow to be able to really pump them full of oxygen to fight the pneumonia. So we very quickly moved up his heart surgery to this summer. This is the only heart surgery that he will need in his life, and everything went very, very well. So now the care plan for the next year is just to follow up every three months, and then eventually we'll start being able to see cardiology less as he gets older. Probably one of my biggest fears. Times that I was most scared was when he was actually in the procedure. My husband and I, were thankful that we could be together for that and provide support to each other. But it was very scary, especially knowing his last hospital stays were, a few weeks long, and just not knowing how long he'd be in the hospital, how everything would go. So the initial support was part of the Facebook group, the support group that just brought a lot of parents together and caregivers together. And it was so calming to really hear other stories who were going through exactly what we were going through. Being able to celebrate with others when their heart warriors have an anniversary or birthday, and just seeing how well they're all doing. In the hospital, we had 2 different hospital stays where the Healing Hearts Project provided us gift cards that really helped alleviate, some stress around meals that we were going to have in the hospital, and even little as a Starbucks gift card so we could go get coffee and just kind of escape the hospital room for a little bit. And then the care packages that they provide in the hospital when your warrior's going through surgery is just amazing. To not think about the toiletries, to not think about, how we're going to entertain ourselves aside from just TV, providing us like a little care package that just gives us some comfort while we're going through this in the hospital. I mean, I feel like we've learned so much. I am in the medical field, and I still feel like I didn't know as much about heart conditions, about how amazing the support is, what a great hospital we have here in Jacksonville to provide support, and just how
just noticed the microphone.
Yeah. Just how routine. Man, I'm trying to think. I was thinking about this question along the way too, the whole way here, what I've learned. I think reaching out, honestly, is my biggest thing I've learned. Not being afraid to reach out for support, not being worried that you're afraid, or not feeling bad that you're afraid for your child, and knowing that others have also gone through this. And just reaching out, because I feel like that's the biggest comfort, having that support group of others who've gone through it. So even knowing that it's only one procedure. I think because we've been through so much in the last, especially over the last year, with each echo showing, his heart condition has gotten worse, or being in the hospital for as long as we were. I think that there's still that like, oh gosh, he got a cold. Is it going to turn into something more? Or every time we go to the doctor's office, what's the news going to be? Is it going to be bad news? I think we still have that expectation, even though we know, everything went as great as it could, and that, he's recovering well. I think there's still that fear of what's going to show up. It's a tough journey. I think it's okay to admit that it's a tough journey. It's not something that when we got pregnant, we were planning on. But there are amazing supports in the community. And so I think just feeling confident that you can reach out and know that someone else has gone through what you're going through right now. Yeah.